Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a podcast slash rant type of video. It's been a long time in the making since I've made a podcast video. I think my last podcast dates all the way back to 2018. Um, but I just felt like it was something right off the top of my head that I needed to clear out of the air right away. And I needed to get this off my chest because I've been doing a lot of thinking over the past few days, and this is coming up constantly in my head whenever I am thinking about it. So, today's topic, I know I'm trying to steer away from the political side, but it's hard right now. It's very hard with the agenda that we are forced to look at and be reminded that this is who we voted in every single day for the next 2 years. We will be reminded every single day. Gas prices. Gas prices have gone up so much. I don't have the statistics right off the top of my head, so I'm not going to talk much about it. But it doesn't make much sense in my head on why somebody thinks it's a good idea to take down a pipeline which brings in a ton of materials. A ton. Excuse me. A ton of material. And think nothing of it. Think nothing of it. This political agenda and this team that is running it is so delusional they have no clue what they're doing. I remember back on my video of the 2019, back in 2019, I made this video of liberals gone berserk. This was my junior year in high school, and they had a march downtown by the bridge. What they called a march. I don't call it much of a march, but anyway, we won't get back on that. It has 19,000 views on YouTube, and not only did I go down there, but I went down there with a Trump hat on. It is so incredibly hard to me to believe that just because of where I put myself with my political views in high school, I was constantly looked at as racist, a bigot, female hater, whatever, sexist, anti-feminist, homosexual, or not homosexual. What's the against homosexuals there? And homophobic. There we go. Excuse me. Homophobic. And even anti-trans, which at the time wasn't a huge deal in our school. That was more of 2020 transition. So that's why I'm not going to talk. Don't take this the wrong way if you are Democratic or liberal, because I have no personal issues with you. These are topics off the top of my head that I have researched briefly on, that I just want to scramble on into a podcast. So I'm not going to look at you as a dumbass for voting in Biden. I'm not going to look at you as a dumbass because you've got all your vaccinations and whatever. It's up to you. These are your choices. Do them. They aren't mine. I might do things differently. But don't come at me because I'm not coming. Even though I'm not coming at you, don't come at me. That's what I'm saying. I have my beliefs. If you don't like what I'm saying, shut her down. Get off the channel. Unsubscribe. Do whatever you gotta do so you don't hear this again. But I'm not being fake any longer. YouTube has suppressed or tried to suppress me as much as possible with my political beliefs and views. I'm not holding back anymore. If you do not like what I have to say, and if you do not like the facts that I am about to say, leave. There's the door. Boom. Out. I don't want to have to deal with your negativity because of my opinions and my beliefs. If you don't like them, leave. That's the only time I'm going to be saying this. So if I get to see any negative comments on this video whatsoever, I am deleting comments. I'm turning them off because there's no reason just because what someone believes makes them a bad person. So, off of that note, we're going to be talking about the masks and COVID and what it's doing to kids and people in general alongside of military people today, 2022. February 27th, if you want to be exact. That's when I'm recording this. So, a source from NBC News, articles called Youth Suicide Attempts Soared During Pandemic, CDC Report says. Okay? This is from that article, and I quote, emergency room visits for adolescent suicide attempts soared this past summer and winter, especially among girls, perhaps in connection to America's struggle with COVID-19. New Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's data revealed, Friday. So, what is that saying? Let's break this down. It's not hard to break down, but it is saying that the emergency room visits, the ER visits for adolescents, aka youth, suicide attempts, were raised so high in this past summer and winter that it brought notice to the CDC, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Now listen to that. And that's something we're not bringing up. That's something we don't hear at all. Something is moving wrong in the political and news agenda that you never hear about this stuff. You would never hear this on the news. Maybe local, but not Fox, not CNN, not this, that, and the other. It's not brought up because all the news anchors are caught up in their own topics. No one wants to bring up these things. You know? At least none that I've seen. So I'm not talking on all of them. To continue that, quote, there was a 22.3% spike in ER trips for potential suicides by children aged 12 to 17 in the summer of 2020 compared to 2019, according to findings published in the CDC's Mortality Weekly report. There we go. Sorry, my screen kind of blanked out there. Okay. So, 12 to 17. Think about that for a second. 12 years old is what? 7th grade? Maybe? I don't know. 12? 7th? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But to think that a child in 7th grade is thinking about suicide is not okay. And you can't tell me that's not because of the masks. These masks that we're forcing people to wear are not only hurting them emotionally, but mentally, as we can see. Emotionally, as in going to school, not being able to see your friend's face, only being able to see them through this blue piece of cloth covering their mouth and nose because of a fear of a disease spreading. What in the world? What happened to going to school, getting the flu, staying home for a day, or however long to take care of it, coming back to school? Fine. No questions asked. You weren't brought into the nurse's office for a antigen test. You weren't forced to wear a mask. What is wrong? And not only are we making this, how am I going to say this? We are forcing people to wear masks. Forcing. There's no say left or right. There's no hey, if you want to wear one, go for it, which is what it should be. If you want to wear a mask and you're so uncomfortable, go for it and wear a mask. There's none of that. It's always No, I don't care what you have to say, what your thoughts are, what your beliefs are. You're wearing this mask whether you like it or not. That's what it is. And for these people to sit back in Congress or in the House of Representatives or whatever, governors, they have no idea what it's like to go through the pain of not being able to see your friends every day and learn the same way. They will never know what that's like. 2020, I was a senior in high school, right? 2 years ago. These have been the two of my slowest years ever. I remember when COVID first became a big thing, I was watching the news with my father. And I remember when they said this is how bad they scared people. They came out and they literally said on the news and everywhere. CDC came out, Fauci came out and said it too. We are in a lockdown now. If you leave your house or do anything that is not recommended by the CDC or is not for medical emergencies, you can be pulled over. You can be, I don't think they ever said arrested, but that's what they were getting at. Do you know the fear in my life that I had whenever I had to drive to a store to pick something up? To only know that it was a lie. To only know that it was a lie to our face. There was no worrying about protecting anybody. There was none of this. But in 2019, midst of 2020, Trump, you never saw any of this forced mask stuff. And masks were definitely a thing. There was never, you have to wear a mask 24/7, whatever, wherever you go. No. It's because we were already used to going into a store without a mask on. If we weren't gonna, why the hell are we gonna wear a mask for? You know? There was none of that. Biden came in. And if you think this podcast is shitting on Biden, you're 100% correct. Because the only thing this guy has done to our country is drive it into a hole. So far, we can't get back out. So, yeah, that is what this podcast is about. I am drilling Biden right to the bone. Okay? That's what it's about. When he stepped in, I knew it was going to be crap. I knew it. This guy doesn't know what he's doing. Look at the debates. And it's not just because he stutters, okay? I know plenty of people that stutter. They are very intelligent. A lot of them. Smarter than I will ever be. So, it's not about his stuttering. I knew for a fact that if you say something 1 minute, you can't remember what you said, there's an issue there. This man needs to be watched by his, well, not his mother, because she's probably not here, by his wife or his daughters or kids. I don't even know if he has daughters. I know Hunter. That's a different topic. But if he had daughters, that he needs to be watched by anybody if possible, not need to be in control of this damn country. So what's he do? Shuts down the pipeline. That's a great start to gain trust from from the rest of the country. Yeah, that's great. Gas prices went up from $2.60 something cents. I think now it's almost $4 a gallon. $3 and almost 60 cents, I think. Is that not ridiculous? To get back on topic, suicide attempts have always been an issue, especially in the United States of America, and especially with the military. Source from military.com, article, military deaths by suicide jumped 25% at end of 2020. Just that's the article title, okay? The title states that the number of deaths, and I quote, by suicide among military service members increased alarmingly in the fourth quarter of 2020, according to the Defense Department's latest quarterly report. Now, of course, we can't say right off the gate when Biden won that this stuff started going downhill right when he started, right? It doesn't take that long, though. This is only in the fourth quarter of 2020 that things started to go downhill. And everybody knew it. Everybody. Okay? The military recorded 156 deaths by suicide among all services, including active duty, National Guard, and reserve troops from October 1st to December 31st of last year. So this was recorded in 21. That is a 25% increase from the 125 such deaths that occurred in the last quarter of the calendar year in 2019. It's still insanely sad to think that 125, military, whatever, including all active duty, National Guard, reserve troops, Army, Navy, Marines, deaths in the last quarter of 2019 were 125. That is just insanely sad to think about. And I'm fortunate enough that the people that I know that have been involved in military actions, active duty, everything, have not resulted to this is a blessing. And unfortunately, there's a lot of families that aren't that blessed, that can't reach out to their family members and touch them in the heart to say, hey, we still care. There would have been such a chance for that if you're not coming back from deployment and getting told you have to get vaccinated, you have to get these 2 vaccines, you have to mask up everywhere you go. Are you kidding me? You come back home and you're told that you have to do this, have to do that. The area that you just got done fighting for. There's just so many ignorant things that tie into this. But I've been rambling on for about 17 minutes now. We'll touch up on some more things in the next episode because there's definitely going to have to be another episode. So, subscribe, unsubscribe if you don't like this content because I don't want you here if you don't like this content. If you don't like the real me, please, get skedoodle out the door like a poodle. You know what I mean? So, thank you again, everybody who took the time to listen to this rant. I'm thinking about starting a second channel with exclusively this content on it. But if you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And any comments down below that are positive, or you know what? I'm not even going to try to suppress anybody. Anybody that has a comment, you type whatever you want down in the comments below. I don't care. Type whatever you want. If you want to be negative down there, just know it's not going to affect me. I'm not going to care. Right? Okay. So, yeah, thanks again, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.